Hi, parents and students of Boylan Elementary and Senator School. It's Gangle here back again. Just going to talk a few things about Alberta Education's website and what was released on Friday regarding what education should look like moving forward as class closures are happening across our province. So, first of all, there is an amount of time and so on put on across K to 6 as 5 hours a week or 1 hour per day. When you get to 7 through 9 and 10 through 12, it changes. 7 through 9 is 10 hours a week, 2 hours a day. If you average it out, it doesn't have to be set to that, but that's what it would average out on a 5 day week. And 10 through 12 is about 3 hours per course per week. Now, that is the amount of time, but I want to talk about time for a little bit. In that time, when we're looking through time as being a limited amount, is that what does that time look like? So some students are going to work through things faster, some are going to work through things slower. And so we have to kind of take a middle ground there. They also got to realize that time has to be focused. So if students are working on material for a long period of time but aren't focused on it, that doesn't necessarily give an accurate presentation of how long it's been. So it's really important that students are focused on the material, and it's really important that also that parents and schools and teachers work together on making sure we provide an environment that makes it best suited for learning to give you an opportunity for the students to be successful. One other thing that this also tells us is that we need to make sure we're moving forward in what we're doing with our education. And it's also very important that students are moving forward in what they're doing. We were going to do that anyways, just for the betterment of the student and education, but it's nice to have a guideline across K to 12. One thing Alberta Education does do here is it does use the word work a lot. One thing we don't like to think of what we're doing as work, but rather purposeful learning in each class. So one thing that our teachers are really going to be working on is making sure that everything presented to students is the best possible learning for that student and for that course and for that objective that they're trying to complete. And so that way it's going to be purposeful learning, as it always is, but more focused into what objectives are the most important, as we are working with a kind of a condensed amount of time that students are going to be working learning material. The other thing that Alberta Education leaves out of here is physical education and health. And physical education we consider a core class across Boylan Elementary and Standard Gershaw School, mainly because it's super important as you move on and through adulthood that you're both physically and mentally healthy. So even though it's not a required course or a certainly required amount of time by Alberta Education at this point, St. Boylan Elementary and St. Gershaw School will be continuing to provide resources and opportunities for teachers to interact with students in that physical activity courses. When we get into high school, it's really important that we continue on with those courses as well, including phys ed, in that making sure that students are doing the appropriate amount of learning and activity. So that way we can make sure we're completing what we can best complete in our high school classes. One thing our teachers are going to be doing is they're going to be providing both required and supplementary work. What that means is required work would or required learning, to better word that, it would be items where it's really important for students to complete that learning to make sure they have the most important outcomes covered. We also provide supplementary learning, so that way, if students wants to dive deeper into something, if there's a more requirement to look at an objective further, they'll be able to do that, and that'd be kind of outside of the amount of time that's listed on Alberta Education website. Lastly, just regarding assessment, assessment is something we're going to continue to work on, but percentage grades are not why we do education. It's not why we're learning right now. And what we're doing right now is a lot bigger than a percentage grade. What's most important right now is we're doing learning, so that way we can be ready for the next level of courses, whatever that may look like. So whatever the course looks like next year or further on this year, that's why we're doing the learning right now. And so we are going to continue to work on assessment and what that looks like and assessment practices in this changing condition of class closures. And that's something we'll be working at throughout both schools. But at the same time, that's not our focus right now. Our focus is to make sure students are learning the objectives they need to learn to be successful going into next year. And we thank parents for the partnership we have in that. And we continue to support you, and you continue to support us, and we work on that so make sure students are getting the best possible education in these very difficult times across Alberta. I think that's about all I have for you right now, and we look forward to continuing to work together and here at BIE Elementary and Senator Gershaw School. And if you have any further questions, feel free to email me at scottangle@prrd8.ca, or email your teachers or call the school. You can leave a message directly into my office, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can if I'm not in my office. For that, we hope everyone is staying safe and healthy, and we wish you all the best. And feel free to reach out to us and connect as we continue to work through this Alberta Education Directive. Thank you.